All right. Let's see. Hello. Sorry, 6 minutes late. Literally just dry my hair and yeah, but I think it's all right. Yeah, we're gonna wait for probably another 3 minutes anyway, just to have more people come to our live chat. Hello, hello. As always. Where is my phone? Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. May I know who you are? I still cannot figure out where can I know who is in the living room. I can only say you when you say something here. So yeah, I'm always curious if somebody join our living chat. Hello, Jackstar. Oh, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, so I'm yeah. Just to check. Yeah, okay. So you can hear my sound. Everything is okay. So hopefully the internet is okay today. Um, yeah, and I'm grateful because when I do the streaming, I say very simple English, but that's how it's supposed to be, isn't it? If I always say some very complicated English, first of all, I cannot even say that complicated English. My English is really you know my English level, but it's good is exactly because I can only say very simple English term. So I can explain everything in a lot simpler way. And isn't that great? Because there are a lot of people, just like me. You know, that it's not everyone just a native English speaker. It's not everyone can just understand a complicated official English, right? So for people like us, this is gonna be the best way to understand something a little bit complicated, but we can explain it in a simple way. Yeah, audio, visual, and internet is good. Okay, that's great. Okay, so now we already have 5 people. We already have 5 friends in the living chat now. Okay, so we can officially start. So today we are going to talk about ego, and just say something in advance. This is a little bit settled. It's a little bit settled topic. It's a little bit. There might be misunderstanding here, so I will try my best to explain um, a lot of psychology things behind ego. So in this way, and I promise you, after this living chat, and then you will have completely a new understanding, and you can immediately use it in your life, and you will have positive outcome. And that's something I promised you, right? So okay. So first of all, can anybody, right? We have 5 people in the living room. Please, let's have more dialogue, right? I want to encourage all of us to think one question. What is ego? You understand? Use just like one simple word or 2 simple word or a short sentence. Explain to me. How do you understand what is ego? Please let me know. Just tell me anything how you understand what is ego. You know, we heard about ego is bad. We heard about ego is good. There's nothing wrong about it. And we heard about when you have ego, you hurt people. And we also heard about that, you know, people with big ego, they are just, you know, dictators, and somebody will worship people like that. You know, we heard all sorts of things about ego. So what is ego? What is ego? Can you use a simple word, simple term, or a simple sentence to describe to me what is ego? Have a think. And type in, please. Just typing here, and so I can know, and we can have a dialogue. And also we have to encourage this thinking process. When we like read when we watching TV show, very soon you get numb. Why? Because you don't actively think anymore, you just listen, you're just taking whatever is in there. And also when we browsing TikTok, when we're browsing Douyin, you know um, your beliefs, ego, your beliefs. Mm. So, okay, so we can keep this in mind. So, my understanding might be a little bit different about this, but it's okay. I want to hear everyone how you understand what is ego. And most important, I want us to actively thinking, not just take in. Because if you just take in and you will get numb, you will get numb very much and you cannot really take in much. It's all about dialogue. If you want to absorb some understanding, you want to change your perspective, it's all built based on dialogue. It cannot be one-sided. So if we have different understanding, for example, Vaibhav suggesting ego is your beliefs. So is there anybody else tell me how do you understand what is ego? We have 5 people here, which is great. I remember when the first time I streamed, there is like 0, 1 is for a long time. Okay, let's see. Jigstar say, recently I've been thinking maybe the ego is the root of our personalities, not just the instincts, which would be of the animal spirit, but like the beginning of what are human personal terms from. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I understand what you're talking about here. So, um, because I would say that there are actually a very distinct definition between ego and another word, right? And I guarantee you that most of the religion, most of the philosophies, most of the philosophies and religions, they don't like to separate these two. This is something I guarantee you because I've been there. I study all these things and I take a lot of time to find out this little trick there. So, okay. First of all, I'm going to say which is another word, self. So, self and ego, most of the people, they confuse these two terms. They think self is ego is self, right? If a person don't have ego, the person also just vanished the self. But if a person have a lot of ego, that means this person a lot of sense of self, right? There's a lot of confusion here, even in psychological way and also in religious way. Actually, some of the religion and some of the philosophy, they deliberately let you confuse these two for specific purpose. And about all this metaphysical pursuit, we already discussed in last episode when last time we do the streaming. You can have a look later if you're interested. Just play it in 1.5 speed. Will not be that like torture. It's okay. So okay. So now we're gonna directly go to this very important part. So first of all, we're gonna see what is the differences between self and ego. First of all, we're going to understand it again on psychological way. Science is our foundation. Please, don't tell me that, oh, science is something lower. We need to transcend science to understand it in a more superior or like a mysterious way, right? Don't. That is escapism. We have to base on the foundation of how to understand. First of all, let's understand it in psychological way, and then we understand it in relational non-duality way. And you will see there is no contradiction, not really. So what is self? The definition of self is the holistic experience about who am I. And it's the identity, the sense of identity about the experiential identity of you, right? You can feel like I'm still here, I'm breathing, I'm experiencing things. You just simply be, right? There's nothing about this, right? We all like this. That's why we can feel our consciousness. We can feel our breathing, we feel our body, we feel everything about us. This is the sense of self. So what is the special thing about it is it gives you the experience of you exist. As simple as that. You feel you exist because you have the sense of self. So this is very, very important. That means if you don't have the sense of self anymore, you cannot like literally you cannot really feel you are still exist. You cannot. You cannot. No matter you imagine some kind of vanish yourself and uh, uh, you like kind of like merge into a light or something like that. But you know for sure, if you cannot have the sense of self, you don't really feel you exist anymore. You vanished, right? This is about self. And then what is ego? Now we are just the definition from psychological way, right? So what is ego? Ego is a dualistic feeling like this is me and that is others, right? And this is my stuff and that is their stuff or whatever, right? So sense of ego is always like want to grab something to claim it mine, to claim it, oh, this is who I am. It's kind of like trying to decorate based on self, want to hold it because sometimes we just scared that ourselves are not being understood. We're scared that we're not being heard. We're scared that loneliness. So we want to grab something and to claim this is ours. This is ego. This is literally what is ego is about. So what is about ego? The most important thing is it's always about division. I am superior than another person because of this. That's ego, right? We all know that's ego. And also, ego is about what? Ego is about protection. It's about self-protection. When somebody you feel like he has really like such a big ego, sometimes it's not like they want to. They're just trying to have the self-protection. They're trying to protect their sense of ego. Like I'm still here. That's what they want to do. And it's also about they um, it's about identify themselves. They identify themselves as whoever they decorate based on self. For example, what is self? We already said. What is self is you just simply being. You naturally exist. And it's a beautiful, pure feeling that all of us experience. Doesn't matter who you are, what's your age, what's your gender, or where your country, or if you can speak English good enough, or just speak English at my level. Doesn't matter. We are all experience that most, authentic existence. That is self. Then what is ego? Ego is, oh, I'm a Chinese, and that person maybe is from Africa. That person is from England. Another person is from India. And okay, I'm wealthy. Another person is not that wealthy. I'm a woman. Another man is man. This is something we call it ego because you define yourself by something you decorate based on the self, which is not your authentic existence. This is ego. So ego brings division. Self is just naturally being. It's just naturally who we are. We exist as simple as that. So this is the difference between ego and self. Self is an experience that all of us, all the time can feel that I just simply exist. And another person just as me, they just simply exist, right? That is me. That is self. And ego is about who am I? My identity is a person who is more superior than that, or more superior than another one in some way, and I feel great about it because I feel okay. I have a sense of achievement. I feel I am special. That is ego. Okay, so all of this we can say in different religion, in different philosophy, they all applies about this uh, misunderstanding or our confusion between self and ego. For example, when some tradition tell you just give up all this, the sense of self. You say what's now you say where's the problem, right? Now you say where's the problem? Self is not a mistake. Self is the most authentic existence that you always have, you always will have. And it's something eternal. Like when you are alive, you will always feel this sense of existence. But some of the tradition will suggest you to give up the sense of self completely. And now we see the differences. Actually, what you should reflect on is not self, is ego. And they are distinct, they are very different meaning between self and ego. So basically, self is okay, self is great. Self is something, if you lose it, you wouldn't even feel you're alive anymore. You understand? Like if you don't even feel yourself as a self, you're suggesting something like vanish your identity of self, vanish your all those things, and then you would not even feel alive. You feel numb and you feel very, very lonely because of that. Because the self supposed to be always connected in relationship to feel the validity in life. That is our self, because it's all about naturally you be who you are, and in this process you participate in life, and it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's nothing wrong about it. But if you abandon it completely, you will always feel lonely, depressed. That is how it is. All right, here is a Jack start. How does empathy relate to ego? Do you need a sense of ego to participate in empathy? If you just feel your coexist, can that really be empathy, or it is then more like self-protection project outwards? About empathy, you definitely don't need ego to feel empathy. That is something I promise you. You don't, because ego is not about, it's about division, as I earlier said. It's about I am this, you are that, I am different than you, in my identity, in my nationality, in my gender, and all these things, blah 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 blah. It's about division. It's not about resonance. Ego is about division, not about resonance. So if you want to feel empathy, you don't need ego. You don't. But you definitely need to keep self. Why? Because first of all, we are all ourself. We have to have this understanding that there is nothing wrong to feel yourself as your existence, basically. This is nothing wrong. And this is the only foundation that you ever need to build empathy, to build a beautiful life that you would just enjoy so much. Everything you ever need, you already got, which is self. That's it. That's how it is. So okay, we already use very simple English in English based on my limitation of English to explain the differences between self and ego in psychological way. And now we need to move forward. We live a little bit more settler level to understand it in a relational non-duality, a philosophy way. So just in case somebody don't know what is relational non-duality, in simple terms, this is a philosophy I'm built, and it's very practical. It's a practical philosophy. It's meant to help you to have a happy life. It's meant to help you to not feel lonely, not feel depressed, and resolve things like fear and ego, and also depress and anger, all these kind of things that bothering, also addiction, to to resolve all of this thing that hindering you to have a happy life. This is what this philosophy is about. Okay. So okay, now we're back to based on relational non-duality. First, how we understand self. Okay. So how do we understand self in based on relational non-duality? As one of the principle, the fourth principle, I lately released, holistic, the principle of holism. In here, it applies very obviously. Why? Because our understanding based on relational non-duality is going to be very, very holistic. Very holistic. So what is self? Self is something I will never choose a way to, nitty is a term in Buddhism, suggests that you can never grab the truth. You can only by deny what is not to grab what it is. Eventually, it's just like the onion. You just spread all the things what is not. You're trying to say what it is, and eventually they get to the conclusion. Rather, is emptiness, shunyata, or is something completely abstract, completely unmoved, completely just detached from human life. Just say the streaming. If you want to figure out what is that, just say the streaming I had yesterday. That's what it is. That is what the way they use to understand self. But we are not. We do the opposite. We understand self in a holistic perspective. So who are you? Ourself. You are your body. So you have different layer, but the first layer is you are your body. You are the one who have your skin, you have your breath, you can touch things, and you have your neural activities in your brain. In physical way, in scientific way, can be confirmed. That is who you are. In the first layer, that is the basic of who you are, and the manifestation in material way. That's the first layer of self. And then you are also your emotion, right? What is your emotion? Your emotion is your response to the world, is your inner energy, your inner tension. You're trying to express something, right? When you feel certain emotion, you are response to certain things, right? When you say you feel so happy, that's because you are in such a harmonious relationship. You sincerely feel happy. That's a response. And also you feel hurt, you feel sad. Maybe somebody just hit you, or somebody who really loved you before is not there anymore. Your response to this word. So that is also definitely, that is also another layer of you. You are also your emotion. No need to deny this. You don't need to deny you are your body. Also, you don't need to deny you are your emotion. There's nothing wrong. There's no original sin based on the first principle. And that's why I say the principle I built is important, because you're gonna say that I'm gonna always imply this principle that I sit for this philosophy all the time, all the time. So I'm not just making dramatic or unnecessary things. It's all gonna be important. And also what? Also, you are your memories. You are your experience. Like what memory is important, why? Because when you say you are this, and then you will know that before you do this, you do that. That is one thing that you know about yourself, right? Imagine if your memory suddenly get erased all the time. You can see it in drama, in movies. If somebody have accidents, their memory is gone. They don't even know who they are. They don't know. They don't know who they are. They're just confused. Why? Because memory is also the part that contribute to how you who you are. So memory is also important. So you are your body, you are your emotion, you are your memory, and obviously you are also your intelligent activity and your words you express. So you are your consciousness, you are your whatever in your mind that is trying to express in intelligent level. That's also who you are. So basically, all of these things combined together make you has a sense of self. All of this, right? If you don't have body, first of all, if you don't have body, I don't know how to even call that a ghost or something. You wouldn't have the sense of self. And anything here we mentioned here, if without it, you wouldn't have the sense of yourself, right? If you don't have any emotion, you will be numb. You don't really feel self. That's what they suggest. You emerge or vanish yourself. Yeah, people, if they want to do that, they might be able to eventually to mental suicide or whatever. Yeah, but if you really don't have that anymore, yes, you lose the sense of self. And also, if you don't have your memory, you have damage of memory, you also lose the sense of self. If you don't have your ability to think in your mind, in your intelligence, like I mean completely your brain is damaged, you cannot be able to have the sense of self. So all of this combined together make you have the sense of self. This is the most holistic perspective to understand self, right? I already said we are not going to separate it as another unmoved consciousness about this. It's impossible and it's pointless. So, yeah, and about why we don't do that is explained very clearly in what yesterday, the streaming yesterday about why we cannot. Yeah, because, okay, let me explain just in short a little bit again. Because in that analogy about the cave, what the Plato mentioned, this suggests that that ultimate truth is in another side, and so that is you already you this is very similar to the concept of observer, right? So when you put that one on another side, this side of life, this side of all the things you experience, including what we suggest there earlier about what composed together to make you as self, they will be all considered to be illusion, and life will be considered as a prison. Life is like a reincarnation that you should jump out, you should transcend yourself from, and the truth become another word to suggest you to escape. So that's why we are not going to agree with metaphysical understanding. Metaphysical understanding will always suggest you to run away, right? Is inevitable because their foundation is very very dualistic, and suggesting another one is higher than this one, so it's inevitable that's gonna be what it is. But our relational non-duality duality suggests that the real wisdom is not escape from life, is to participate in life. That's as simple as that. Because whatever you want to get from another side, you can never. You can only get from here, but by participating, not by escaping, not by numbness. You have to actively to adjust, to balance, to make things right. And there's nothing bad about it, because this is about the meaning of life is to participate, to make things nice. There's nothing wrong about it, right? Nothing wrong. So based on relational non-duality, there are certain categories about self, certain features about self. First of all, self is the one who participates, not the one who is observer. So, Jack Star said, I feel like I have a different view of myself compared to what my friend, family, strangers feel is myself. From a holistic viewpoint, which self is the true me, or am I confusing ego here? There is, look, Jack Star, I don't think there is any possible way that your understanding of yourself and other people's understanding of yourself is different, because your self is same as their self, right? Earlier I mentioned, what is self? Self is very holistic point of view to understand, is in this layer, that layer, that layer. You have these things, right? You have your emotion, you have your physical body, you have your intelligence, and also you have your memory. You have it. Other people also have it. Everyone have it. Everyone have it. So in this sense, it's universal. The sense of self is universal. So you have the feeling about yourself is this, and other people, they know for sure is should be like this. It's not because of their perspective, it's because they are also the same, right? They know that what combined together make you as a self of yourself is because you have this, which they also have this. That is why. So if other people have different understanding about self, I think you might confuse with another word, ego, as you say, because if somebody else is suggesting something like your social status or something like that, that might be very different. But self, our individual self, how we feel about our individual self is universal. Is definitely universal. That makes sense to me now. Yeah, I do think so. This is why what we say here is always going to be universal. It's not, this is just my truth, not your truth, or it's his truth, not another one's truth. This is one of the reasons I respect science, because science is always trying to dig this universal truth. It's not just a truth belongs to this group or that group. I have this self as this 4 layer or 5 layer. You have that identical to me. It just you might have different memories. You might have different physical body. You might have different intelligence, or your mind think differently. But all this ability we share identical the same. This ability we share identically. That's self. And you can feel you exist. I also can feel I exist. That's self. That's self. Nothing wrong about self at all. So okay, let's back to the feature about the feature about self, based on the understanding of relational non-duality. First, self is the one who participates, not the observer. So self is not some abstract ultimate consciousness standing aside to just say everything going on. No. Self is always gonna be that one within relationship, always gonna be that one participate in the flow of energy. That is self. Because you see the 4 layer, in all 4 layer, you always participate there. There is no such thing as like an abstract or something in the light is turning another side, like in Plato's cave thing. It's not like that. Never like that. So he's always participate. And second, self, very important thing is self have free will. Self have free will. Free will is not about you can absolutely control everything. It's not like that. It's about, in simple terms, it's about choice, that you can choose to do not to do this, to not do that. Right? You might not be able to control the outcome. Like you try your best to do these things, but the outcome might be not be satisfying. But that doesn't mean you don't have free will, because you have the free will to try your best to do this, because you know that this is something you want to do, or because you know this thing is right to do, or maybe because of whatever other reason. You have the ability to choose. That is also one thing about self, because you are a person who participate in life, and when you participate in life, it's inevitable you will face choices all the time, and you are making choices all the time. Everyone knows. Is there anybody they suggest like they don't even choose and to do things? No, everyone choose, right? When you choose to go to a school, maybe your mother or your father choose that for you, which school you go, but still there will be choices, always going to be choices, and that is free will. And now after you graduated, after you go to society, you can choose a lot of things for yourself now. So you will know that free will is true. So even outcome might not be satisfying, but free will is true. So that's the second thing. Second feature about self is free will. And the third thing is you have to understand the self is the only opportunity for you to respond and to feel and to make yourself in this flow of energy. If you don't even have the sense of energy, it's just like you unplug yourself completely from the energy. You will feel extremely lonely, and you will feel eventually you will just fight back. You will just so desperately want to fight back the connection and to join this flow of energy again. Because when you have you have the sense of self, you participate, you feel your existence. If you don't participate anymore, you will not be able to feel your existence anymore. So here is the point. So it's the same. It's very connected to the first point. You are the one who participates. You are not the observer. You are not. So also, the self, as we already said, is very holistically. You have to understand it in very holistic perspective. So you are your consciousness, you are your body, and you are your emotion, and all of this combined together give you the sense of self. And therefore, you can participate in this world to enjoy this world. Maybe sometimes things doesn't work out that well. You will have to endure this world, but that doesn't mean you don't have choice, because you have free will. So this is self. This is self. And it's because we have this self, we can always grow, we can always improve ourselves, we can transcend a lot of unnecessary pain in our life. if we understand what is the essence of ego, what is happening when we are angry, we have more self-awareness, all of these things can be transcended. It's not something, there's nothing you can do, you are doomed, and you can just let this whatever is happening to you, there is no such thing. You can always make differences because you have free will. This is the feature of the self. Nobody can steal that from you, only if you give up yourself. Okay. So um so again, I have to say this again. So when you hear somebody, they only emphasize in emptiness or non-self, right? In some of the practice, in some of religion, they suggest that there's no self, there's no individuality, there's no these things. You might say that they are kind of like transcend their desire, but in fact, they also completely disconnect to life. You got to understand that a person without the sense of self, they might look peaceful, but in fact, they also detach, they disconnect with their any type of emotion, right? Bad emotion, good emotion, or any type of emotion. And also, they wouldn't want to have responsibility. What's the point of responsibility? Just think about it. If everything is just illusion, everything is maya, well, where is the responsibility even come from, right? No, there's no sense of responsibility, because responsibility is built on relationship, right? You want to be responsible for yourself because you have a relationship with yourself. You want to be responsible for other people on this planet because you have a relationship with them as well. If you don't want that, and you just abandon the sense of self, you wouldn't also have the sense of responsibility anymore. And also, you wouldn't want to respond, right? If something good happened in your life, you would just suggesting this thing is something you should just transcend, you should detach. Therefore, you wouldn't want to respond. So this is when a person, if they abandoned the sense of self, what's going to happen? And that is true. So that is not awakening in my eyes. That cannot be awakening. That is just numbness. That is a numbness when a lot of pain or trauma happened in their life. They try to shut down the world. They try to somehow heal them by completely disconnect to the most authentic existence of themselves. And I don't think that can lead you to anywhere, because most of the people, if they choose that path, eventually they're trying so hard to build some connection with something, and eventually what happened is, like in the yesterday's streaming, it's gonna be like Plato's cave. And this analogy again, they were just searching for something high beyond, a turning light, a holy stuff shining bright. They will just turn themselves looking for that, try to build a connection with something like that, because they disconnect here, but their authentic existence still trying to fight back the existence, but they don't allow themselves to fight back the existence, the connection here. So they have to search another side, which is completely, just ontologically something far away, something you can never get, something metaphysical, and that is the consequences. And eventually, what it's gonna bring? What it's gonna bring is complete disruption of connection, of relationship, right? Your relationship with yourself will be damaged, of course, because you don't even accept your own body. Come on. You don't accept your own body, you don't accept your pain, your suffering, or whatever as signal. You see them only as illusion, right? So of course you cannot build a relationship with yourself. Imagine that if you don't even see them real, where is the relationship? The relationship is based on the foundation that at least you admit another thing, that thing actually exists, so you can build the connection or relationship. If you don't even recognize that thing is real, just illusion, where is the point of building relationship? There's no point, right? So this first, you will completely disconnect with yourself. And also you're gonna completely disconnect with people, which is obvious because you're gonna feel all the people is just hindering you to search to that ultimate truth, or to completely to dismiss yourself, the sense of self to vanish. Then there will be obstacles to you. Of course, you'll try all your best to disconnect with people, obviously, and eventually, also you will disconnect with the world, obviously, because they're Maya. They're not even real, right? When you close your eyes, that's it. It's all your imagination. You close your eyes, it's not real there, right? And then you open your eyes, they are there, but just illusion anyway. It's like a dream, right? So in this sense, eventually, what you're gonna feel is gonna be extreme loneliness, right? Extreme loneliness. There's no other words can explain this kind of feeling anymore. Extreme loneliness, which is a lot of people when they into philosophy, uh, abstract abstract concepts, and when they into something so metaphysically detached from life, that's where they end up. Extreme loneliness, and people say they're crazy, right? That's how it is. So we know that for sure the real wisdom is not about without self. The real wisdom is about you can have a self, a sense of self that is sincerely participate in the world, sincerely aware what is going on in you or around you, and sincerely you have the ability to take your free will to adjust. That is the real wisdom. You can only find that to by participating and to back to the earth to participate. You cannot fight this kind of wisdom or the result of this kind of wisdom, which is happiness, by detachment, complete detachment. That's just a dead end, right? A dead end. So this is the understanding of self based on relational non-duality, right? Jack Star said, I totally agree with this point you are making about the disconnection aesthetics. Yeah, thank you, Jack Star. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure where you come from. Mostly, if people are not from the culture which emphasize on this detachment, they will be a lot easier to agree with me, and that is true. But a lot of friends from India culture, or from like if they really into Plato or like metaphysics, they will be a lot more struggle to resonate with me, because those teaching is very different than what I'm suggesting here. But just trust me in one thing, I've been there, so I know what they're trying to express. And the only reason I walk past them already, and now I built my own philosophy, is because I'm confident that this philosophy can bring you happy life. I'm confident that this philosophy can use practically, to make you a person who is participate in this world. No need to make you a superstitious person, or a person who nihilist or whatever. All of these things not necessary. I just wanted to use in very practical way to help people to fight back whatever the connection in their life. And when they have this kind of connection, they will feel happy. As simple as that. So is there anybody else want to say? Please talk to me. Talk to me. The communication is important. Tell me what you think about. If you not agree with me, you also have to say it out. And I know that from a lot of friends, if they're from India, they probably feel like, oh, this is no, it's not like this. It's okay. Talk out. We'll discuss a little bit further. But the problem is, I am honest. I'm honest about these things. I said it out, and I'm very bravely to say it out about these perspectives, because I'm not afraid of challenge, and I accept challenge. There is no hierarchy here. There is no such thing as I'm the authority. Oh no, there is no such thing. If you feel differently, you think differently, you got to tell me and let's discuss. Yeah, this is the only path. This is the only path to keep philosophy alive. And philosophy is life, is ever fresh, is ever alive. So let's don't kill it. Let's don't make it something dead, right? Tell me. So till now, we're really distinct what's the differences between self and ego from psychological way, and then we already say how to understand self from the perspective of relational non-duality. And now we're going to understand what is ego based on relational non-duality. But before this, I want anybody to tell me if there's anything you not agree with me, if there is anything you want to say about, wait, I don't understand in that way. My understanding about self is a bit different. Let's discuss, but you have to tell me. If you don't tell me, I cannot build dialogue with you, and that is not going to be helping. And I want dialogue with you because that's the way that we can figure it out, we can reason it. If you just keep different perspective, you don't talk, you don't say, and eventually you say it leads us nowhere, isn't it? And I don't want just be a one person saying here. For example, Jack Star agree with me because he resonate with me. Maybe he is not from India background. It's a little bit easier for him to resonate with me. But if you are from India or from some philosophy, think differently. You got to tell me what you think about. You got to tell me, right? Okay. I'm a very, very um fear person, really. If you know me in real life, you know it. I'm very fear all these things, and as the topic we're discussing today about ego, I'm not a ego person. For things like this, it's so simple. If if we want to have dialogue, you want to have resonance with me, you have to build dialogue with me. You have to tell me what you think, as simple as that. Okay, since nobody want to say for now, so let me continue a little bit then. So let's understand ego based on relational non-duality. So what is ego? What is ego in relational non-duality? So we don't understand ego as a devil or an enemy. No, it's just simple term. In a simple word to explain it is misunderstanding. That's it. What about misunderstanding? It's about, it's a self protection mechanism. I hope my English pronounce it correct. Self protecting mechanism which is being misunderstood. That is ego. So from relational non-duality duality perspective, ego is not enemy, is a misunderstood self-protecting mechanism. So that's what it is. So what I emphasize here in based on relational non-duality is not to cut your ego. It's not to, kind of like destroy ego. No, 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 no. It's not like that. There is no such thing, to demonize it. Pointless. I would never demonize, anger, anything, any emotion, anything you might consider evil. I don't, because I think everything happened for a reason, and that reason must be something you can be understood, must be something you can sort out, because this philosophy is all about participation. Participation, the wisdom of participation is about balance and sort things out, right? It's about sort things out. So how can I blame something is evil, is something need to be destroyed? No, you don't destroy it, you understand it. You understand it, you rebalance it, and everything will be great. So what we say is not to cut down ego or destroy ego, but is something you have to understand. You have to aware of it. A lot of people, when they have like so much ego, they don't even aware of that. They feel like I'm just being myself. Why everyone say I'm like self-centered? Why everyone say I have a big ego? They even confused. You see, so it's not they want to be like that. Again, it's not they want to be like that. They just don't have that self-awareness. They don't even notice they become like that, right? So in situation like this, how can you suggest they are devil? Of course, they don't even know. They don't even know. So we have to help it out. We have to figure it out. If you or your friend or whoever you found in a situation like that, then after today we explain, I hope you will be able to understand them and you will be able to find a way to help them or help yourself. So that's just how it is. How practical of this philosophy. This is where it shows. So when a person have very strong ego, that is, it's not they are making mistake, but they are just trying to protect themselves. They are trying to protect themselves from to survive, to defense, to be recognized, to be heard. This is what happened to people, right? If a person they feel like they never be recognized, they never feel like they've been respected enough, then you will feel they really have a strong ego. They have such a strong tendency to show off in front of people. You know why? Because they want to feel the sense of approval, the sense of being respected from other people. It's not that evil. No, they're just hurt. They need to figure it out themselves, or somebody figured out for about that for them. And then everything will be okay. Everything will be great. Things can be lead to good. Why? You see, a water, when there is a blockage of energy, you feel like, oh my God, it's hopeless. But when the blockage is disappeared, when the energy can flow nicely, you will find there is no such thing as hopeless situation. None, right? No matter you think about yourself or your friend or somebody you used to respect, now you think you're just like egocentric bastard or something like that. No, it's not like they're hopeless. They just need to somehow to figure it out, to resolve that blockage, the blockage of energy. So so this is how in relational non-duality understand what is ego. So when a person or when we felt we are hurt, we are ignored, or we are threatened, especially when we feel like we're threatened, and we will have this automatic self-defense mechanism happen, and this is what we call ego. So in this state of situation, we will just try to somehow to protect ourselves, to defend for ourselves. So we want to build a certain image of ourselves. So we will feel a little bit safe about ourselves. This is ego. So we feel like if we do such thing, we will be able to prevent the effect from others, from the world, so they will not be able to hurt us. So we can protect ourselves as like this center things we build for ourselves. And it's all about self-protection. So that's all what it is about, right? And in certain stages in life, these things are very important. For example, and it's very obvious, when you are a child, if you are ignored, you will just try so hard. You want to try so hard to have the approval from your parents. Yeah, you feel ignored and you just try to study hard to have a good score, or just I have to maybe be the best student in the school so my parents will love me again. Or when you cry and nobody is no, when you do something and you want attention and your parents don't give you, and you just cry, you do anything you ever could do to try to fight back this attention. So this is what is ego is about. Ego is self-protecting, is always trying to protect yourself. It's a automatic self-protecting mechanism. So it's understandable. In certain situation, it happens, it's okay. But where is the problem? The problem is when this kind of ego structure become dominant in your personality. Like it dominant you all the time. You know, all the time you just get controlled by this kind of structure of ego. Then you will become like what? You would be almost impossible to authentically express your real emotion, right? Because you need to keep the image. You need to keep your image of you are like certain person, so you can be understood. You can not understood. You can be respected. You can be, you can get some kind of satisfaction of attention or things like that. So you will always you will hide your real feeling about stuff. Namaste, you all. Hello, Mr. Dong. Hello. Nice to see you again. So today we are talking about ego. We are talking about this very, very important topic about ego. And now we already go to the understanding about from relational non-duality to understand what is ego. All right, just a little bit explanation. Okay. And also, what is going to be happening if you let ego become dominant in your life is you will always use your character, which you built this ego to to interact with people. For example, you will always consider yourself as I am smart, I never make mistake, and you are the victim. You put all these things, this label to yourself, or you are successful, or you are better than them, or you are superior philosopher, things like this. You always put a lot of label to yourself. You communicate with people with this kind of label all the time. You can help, you didn't aware of it most of the time. And most of the time you didn't aware what is going on, but you will always communicate with people in this kind of attitude. So that's why people say you are ego-centered. And that's exactly what happened. So you don't really respond in relationship anymore. Also, this is another consequences is you don't really respond in relationship anymore. You just defense in your character. You just defense in this character which you built for yourself. You be like basically you put yourself like an actor. You act as this ego built for you, right? You are a successful person. You are superior. You are more intelligent. You are blah 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 blah, and you interact with people always with this kind of identity of yourself all the time, and you can help because this ego is already dominant your life, so you cannot help. So in situation like this, you don't like to respond to relationship anymore. You just like to act. You just like to act in this character you built for yourself and you defend for yourself. Jung called the ego persona, which is Greek for mask. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very correct. Ego is the mask. It's you say this is the differences. Earlier we're talking about the differences between self and ego. Self is something authentic. Self is something you should appreciate. Self is the only way you can participate in this world. You can share love. You can express love. You can receive love. Is all great about self, and self is universal, right? You have yourself as your physical body, as your emotion, as your memories, as your intelligence. Other people also have that as well, right? It's not just a self concept belongs to you. It belongs to everyone. There's nothing wrong about self. Nothing wrong about self, my friend, right? What is problematic is about ego. And ego and self are different things. So there's some particular traditions that confuse you, maybe deliberately, maybe not. To be honest, I don't even care. Like, are they deliberately confusing people about this? But self and ego are absolutely different. Different. Very, 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 very different. Authentic self is something bright, is something you should appreciate, is something that can allow you to participate in this authentic life. But ego is something, is something mechanically happened because of your self-defense. It's some kind of energy blockage lead you there. It's not something great, yes, but it's also not a demon. It's something that you can sort out by a way. It's not something, if you have ego, you're going to be forever like that. It's not like that. Ego exists for survival purposes, not important for identity. For survival purposes. Well, if you want to understand it in a scientific way, uh, I mean, in the ancient time, maybe ego it means to a little bit more. I mean, last time we analyzing about fear and anger. I mean, violence. Why we have violence? Because if two people fight in the ancient time, the one who are more violent, have more chance to survive, isn't it? So anger is also a self-protect mechanism, right? But the whole point here is we have free will. We are able to choose to remove this mask of ego. We can choose to remove it. And especially nowadays, so much ego is based on our social status, isn't it? So much ego. So much ego is based on you feel you're superior than others, maybe by financially, maybe by intelligently, in intelligent way. for all these things, you think you are better than others, or maybe you think you are pretty, you are handsome, or things like that, right? It's all based on the sense of, I feel I'm better than that. People feel this sense of self-protection when they feel offended, when they feel they are not being understood, they are not being how to say, have enough attention. They always do this. That's why you see this kind of things everywhere when you're in philosophy group, or you see everyone basically in this way, that way, that way, in different way, they're all trying to prove they are just smart, they're really, really smart, and other people, they are worse than them. They don't have that ability to even understand. They don't think as the way they think, so they're superior, right? So, and also, if you browsing the TikTok, you will see everyone is trying to show off how pretty they are, how hot they are, things like that. And why? Because the ego, because the ego is driving them to made it up, to have some kind of replacement to fill up their self-protecting desire, because they don't feel understood in real life. They don't feel understood, they don't feel they are have enough attention, and they have some kind of sense of lacking. They feel inadequate. That's why they have to figure out some way to get this back, right? But they cannot really do it in such a nice way. Eventually it turns out to a way that, when they say things like this or do things like that, they always hurt people. They give other people a feeling like this one is just so much big ego in this person. They give people like that feeling. But we have to understand they are not devils. They are actually victims. They are victims because of whatever happened in their life gave them such a sense of such a strong defensive uh, feeling. Like they feel like I have to defend myself all the time. There must be something happen, right? If there's nothing bad happen in their life, everything works out great, their relationship with self, with relationship with people around, or with the world is all great, do you think they can really turn out to be so defensive for protecting themselves all the time? It's impossible, right? Cause and effect, based on all the logic or science or whatever you call, that's impossible. But the thing is, life is complicated. It's not gonna all the time be great. So everyone might be able to get hurt. Everyone might be able to get trauma. That's okay. So what we need to focus here is not to blame them like a devil. We need to try to somehow to help them out. And if sometimes we feel in this way, we feel defensive, we feel like we have to prove to others, or we want to create a character for ourselves, and we always want to interact with other people by this mask, you have to have self-awareness so you can really to remove this mask. As simple as that. Okay, let's see what Mr. Dunn said. Mr. Dunn said, if your identity is based on ego, you will never be satisfied. Absolutely, Mr. Dunn. Imagine, imagine how a person can be ever be satisfied if all his satisfaction is based on something can never be satisfied. How? How can it be? Right? It's impossible. It's just the wrong path, because this ego thing is always want to grab, always want to grab. When people feel insecure, they could eat a lot, a lot. If you feel okay, you will eat just normal food. A lot of food are delicious, but you will have still have your sense of rationality. You will not go crazily eat all the cake or something like that. But you know what? When people have problem mentally, they might just eat a lot and they gain a lot of weight. Or if everyone believe that tomorrow is end of the world, they could also do that. Why? Because they just don't feel safe. They just want to do whatever they want to grab this sense of security. So of course they will just want to eat whatever they want, right? So yeah, if your identity is based on ego, you will never be satisfied, because ego itself is a self-protection mechanism. This mechanism can never be satisfied. It can only be removed to be understood, and then you can just fix your energy blockage. And eventually, ego is something you have to remove as a mask. not as something like a devil or something. You don't need to hate, you don't need to judge about it. It's something you need to be understood. That's as much as it. So yeah. So let's say a few typical form of ego. So we can also reflect ourselves, right? I would suggest from now on, let's not use these things to criticize other people. Let's reflect ourselves. Are we having these things, right? Are we having this ego pattern in ourselves, right? The first thing is about controller, right? Controller. We all know. We sometimes we say, "Oh my God, that's a control freak. This is a control freak." Right? We always say something like that. Now let's just have some self reflection on ourselves. Controller. What is about controller is they are afraid of chaos. Chaos. They don't trust other people, right? They don't trust other people, and they are afraid of chaos. So this is what is controller is about. And what is the reason a person become a controller? It's because a person lack of sense of security, right? When a person lack the sense of security, for example, this person is in a relationship, he always feels like, oh my God, that person gonna lift me, that person is gonna hurt me, that person is gonna cheat on me or something like that. So he will offer, of course he will be very controlling, because he will feel like maybe this is the only way I can keep him with me. So just let him, just by more controlling, don't do this, don't do that, not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that. This is about controlling, because they are so scared to lose it, so they become controlling. The second is about the critics. The critics, is this the word you say? Criticize, right? The type of people like to always criticize, and to say very negative things about others, to laugh at others even. This kind of people. So they always love to judge other people. They are so wrong. They're pathetic. They are ignorant. They are dumb. They are all these kind of things, which is in the Plato cave analogy. Yeah, very obvious. So why they always do this? Imagine why they always do this. That is because they lack of chaos and order should be seen as complementary, not threatening. Yeah, I mean, I know that is Mr. Dong is from Yin and Yang. In Yin and Yang, there is like always black and white and all the things. So we have to not see them as threatening or opposite. We need to see them as complementary. Yeah, that's a nice perspective, and it's just based on our philosophy of relational non-duality. We will always focus on how to transfer the chaotic energy into the order, right? For example, here we're all talking about this like ego, this controller, this criticizing, all these things. They are chaos, like they are like a blockage of energy, but we are not really like suggesting just let it be. We're gonna transfer them into a more harmonious way. So we will have a happier life, as simple as that, because we have a goal is we want to be happy. By happy life, then that means we need to fix things, so it's inevitably we have to participate and fix stuff. So here, okay, let's back to the topic here. So the people like to criticize others is because inside of their heart they lack the sense of their own value. Why? Because they don't feel being recognized, be approved by other people. So it's some kind of like, not really like jealousy here. It's more like they don't have it. They also don't want other people have it. You understand, right? They feel like they try so much, or maybe they don't try. They feel like they're so great, or maybe they're not. But doesn't matter in reality if they are great or not. But they think they deserve to be recognized. They deserve to be loved. Like everyone should respect them, to love them, to recognize it as, oh, you are so great. My God, we love you, right? But in reality, they don't got it. In reality, somehow, maybe unlucky, or maybe they are not that great as they think, so they don't got that. So because of this, they cannot help. So they just want to criticize others. So they want others to feel the pain they feel, right? So this is the ego when it when it show ego as criticizing. And this kind of thing you can see all the way in life. The close people to you, or in internet, or in distant distant places in the world. It doesn't matter where, it's full of people like this. So as I said earlier, now we don't use all of these things to criticize others. Let's just reflect ourselves. Let's clean our ego. Let's try to clean our ego from all of this very, very popular, or let's say very obvious pattern, one by one, right? And the third is about mm, just a minute. Mr. Dunn said, chaos is the wellspring of creative potential. I know what you mean, Mr. Dunn. So it's like in one of the theory in ancient in Veda is talking about I call it water theory. So that is like in chaos, it's nurture, in nurturing whatever exists, right? So I understand that is it. Now, that is in another way to understand the creativity, to understand how this interacting with each other. That's okay. But now here, because we are focusing on ego, so in these things, yeah, you can say ego is chaos, right? But this is something we are not suggesting that ego is nurturing something good out here. We're suggesting that ego is something we need to understand and need to transcend. So let's just for a moment, let's focus on this topic right here. So the next thing is about perfection. Perfectionist, is it perfectionist? I think. Yeah. So when people, you can see this kind of people, they want everything to be perfect. And what is the thing about it is it always feel like everything is not good enough, is not satisfying, is not even though in other people's eyes they already say, wow, this is already impressive. This house, when they're trying to buy a house, oh, this is so great already, but that person will say, no, it's not good enough. Or their own house, they will say, no, it's not good enough. Or about themselves, or about anybody else. This is perfectionist, that they just never feel enough. So what is the deep reason, the deep motive behind perfectionist? Is because they're so scared to be denial. They're so scared to be denial. And these things is more related to their childhood experience. So, for example, imagine if you're a child, when you were a child, you want love from your parents, and they tell you, if you have good score, this weekend we will bring you to the park or something like that, bring you to entertainment park. And eventually you get used to always try to looking after perfection, because you think this is the only way you can be approved, you can have something you want, which is your parents love or something like that. So for very long term you get used to do like this, and this side of ego become dominant in your life. You become like, even after you are adult, you're still looking for perfection. If there's something is not good enough, you will feel very unhappy about it. For other people, they can easily say that it's okay, like, we don't need to looking for perfection, but they will be very strict. They will say, no, we have to. Why are we not looking for perfection? They will be like that, right? So this is perfectionist. And another one, trust me, I've been encountered this kind of the next type of ego a lot. It's like, unfortunately. So it's called victim. What is victim? What is this about? Victim is about this kind of people. They always felt like people are bullying me, like I'm the victim. And no, people are doing bad thing to me. Everyone is mean to me. The world is mean to me. I'm like the biggest victim in this world. Like, how could I should deserve better. I should somehow to end their bully somehow. It's all their fault. They are just bullies, right? So what is this behind? Behind this is the motive, the deeper motive about this is they want to be seen. They want your compassion. They want your empathy. Why? Because through all their life, a lot of time, they feel they are transparent. They felt like they are not really being seen, and nobody really like understand them or even show a little bit, empathy towards them or sympathy. They don't feel it. They feel like everyone is kind of like abandoned them. This is why the people, they feel like they are victims. When they are victims, or when this kind of ego get dominant, it's very difficult to build a relationship with them, because no matter what you do, if there's something not good enough, they will feel like, oh my god, you bully me. It's like that. Like even you do 99% is so good to them, but if there is 1% of something you did, they don't feel happy about it. They will feel you bully them, and then they could, just because that 1%, they jump to the conclusion, you bully me. They will not prioritize that 99% goodness you do for them, but they will say like everyone bully them, including the person who always treating them nice. Why? Because the ego of victim, this victim mentality, become dominant in their life. That's why it is. Okay. And then is uh, another type is, how to say this kind of ego is like, um achievement ego. It's like they only would feel they are valuable if they are useful, right? So for example, when people, they are like this, they're quite, most of the time they are really nice people. They are always trying to make a lot of contribution in the world, or helping other people, or do something great in life, which is nice, because you don't really want everyone to be lazy, but they are always the opposite to lazy. They do a lot. They always try to do a lot. But the problem is that they always felt like, I have to be useful, then I have meaning, I deserve to exist. So basically, if there's sometimes they are feeling tired, they don't feel like, I should they feel like they need some rest, but they don't let themselves rest, because if they are resting, they will feel very uncomfortable. They will feel this anxiety in their mind. Oh my god, I'm not being useful, I'm not being productive now. Oh my god, and if I'm like this, I don't even deserve to exist. In our eyes, we will say that, come on, don't be so extreme. You already did so much. You are already such a great person. Just give yourself a break. There's nothing wrong about it. But for them, they don't think so. They will think as every minute, every moment in their life, or even when they sleep, they wish they could do some contribution to prove their value. This is this kind of ego. So, what is really behind this kind of ego? What is really behind this kind of ego is that they want to be loved, and they felt like, or maybe it's because of the experience in life, they always felt like there is condition to be loved, right? They always felt like only when you are useful you can be loved. Maybe it's because a relationship or whatever, or they heard from people, for any kind of reason, they built this understanding that only when you are useful to the society, or in a relationship, or in any kind of way, and then you are able to be loved, you are able to be respected. So this is what is behind about this, called like successful. They always feel like achievement, only achievement in their life can make them feel satisfied. So now we already talk about the controller ego, the criticizing ego, the perfection ego, the victim ego, and the sense of achievement ego. So now I want us to just have 1 minute to think about this slowly. Just breathe in and breathe out to have a think in your life. Do we have this? Do we have this? It's a clearing, it's a cleaning process. Because this ego can never give you a happy life. We got to understand that. If there's something you found, actually what just I mentioned there, you have a little bit that, or maybe too much, we got to do something about it, right? Let me remind you again. If you felt yourself is quite controlling, what really behind is a signal. All of the egos are signal of self-protection, right? So let's read the signal. The signal of controlling behind is because you feel lacking of security. And the ego of being criticizing, very, very critical towards every people in life, behind is because inside you don't feel much self-value. And the reason why you're always looking after perfection and become so extreme looking after perfection is because you are so scared to be denied. And the reason why you always feel yourself as a victim is because you want to be seen, you want to be understood, and you feel you deserve people's compassion. And then if you always feel like you have to have achievement to prove you are useful, you are valuable, that is because you always have a misunderstanding. You thought being loved has a precondition, and the precondition is you have to be useful. And the truth is not like that. So this is the ego. So behind all of this ego, there are traumas, there are sadness, there are suffering, and all of this suffering, sadness, and traumas is not something you can just say you're a devil and all these things can heal. No way. The only way is that if you can understand and heal these things, this part of you. Jake Starr said, enjoying this psychological takes in relation to the ego. I've definitely been guilty of a few of this, haha. It's very normal, right? Let me say, right? I always emphasize I'm not some kind of like person is perfect or something. The only reason why I go to today, I can just monologue in this so much because I've been there. So I believe I can understand. That's all. Let's say controller. So I've been controller before, because I had a bad relationship. One of the relationship, my boyfriend cheated on me, not directly, but it's like on the phone, flirting with other people. So after that, I always felt like have this a little bit insecure about phone. If my boyfriend is looking at phone, I feel like, oh, a little bit insecure. But now it's gone. But because all of this ego, as I said again, all of this ego behind, there are reasons, there are traumas. And if you deal with these traumas, this ego, this mask of ego, as Mr. Dunn suggests, this is what ego is about. Me, ego is a mask. It's not something gonna be stick on your face forever in the rest of your life. No, if you want to remove it, it's able to remove it. So please, first of all, have faith in your free will, because later, a little bit earlier, when we distinct the differences between self and ego, we see it very clearly. Self, one of the feature of the self is we have free will. Self have free will. You can make choice. You can decide. So all of these things, even where we're not proud of about something we had, yeah, but we can deal with it. Really, we can deal with it. So, and also, just as I said, I'm not somebody perfect. No way. I admit that I don't drink. I try my best like to take care of my health. This is something I feel quite good about myself, is because I feel very responsible for my health. Like maybe sometimes even a little bit extreme. Like when I catch cold, I don't even take medicine. I just let it go. Last time when I catch cold is already 1.5 years. Is very like I it just don't really in my whole life, the only disease I only got is like catching cold. So I just want to say that I'm not perfect, but I am also trying to be very responsible to myself. So I have a clear mind. I believe so. And the reason why I have a clear mind, because I take care of my health and I get very far away from anything can disturb my mind. Such thing as coffee, such thing as tea, even tea, and cigarettes, alcohol, and also, of course, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat, but not from the beginning. It's something I can cultivate. I cultivated this for myself, And also, I don't take any type of medicine unless it's really necessary, like I have like allergy. But I barely have any necessary situation to take any medicine at all. So this is the way I take care of my mind. As I said yesterday in the streaming, if you don't know how to do, you don't know what to do to fix these things about your relationship with self or with the world or with people. Trust me, the first thing you're going to do, the first thing as a start part is going to be taking care of your health, taking care of your body, taking care of that. Because if you do that, physical body and our mind are interacted. If you taking care of your health, you will feel more positive. You will feel more able to relax your mind. And if you have a good sleep, you don't take drug, you don't take alcohol and any kind of addiction, things like that, then things will go better. So that's a start point. So that is something I suggested before, and I would suggest it again for anybody who want to make change but don't know where to start. We do this. Okay, so let's back to the topic. So next point is we need to understand how ego um, as something to stop us to build an authentic relationship. I mean, we might already know, like it's quite obvious, isn't it? Because what is the essence of relationship? The essence of relationship is resonance. It's resonance that, for example, our relationship now, we felt this resonance of what? Of being understood. When you say things, I understand you. When I say things, you understand me. So you feel resonance. And when we say things like this, you feel like, oh, it makes sense. And when I say what you say, I also say it makes sense. So this is about resonance. And if you have a relationship with somebody you love, that is also resonance and a very deep resonance because you felt like you don't even feel like you are two anymore. You feel like in relationship you are one. That is one of the deepest resonance in life, isn't it? That is also resonance and your resonance with yourself, which is you taking care of yourself and you can understand whatever behind this mask of ego, what is actually stopping you to be who you really are. That is also a resonance with yourself. So the essence of relationships is resonance, right? Is resonance. But when ego dominant us, we cannot really respond others authentically anymore because we are controlled by a character that we create for ourselves. So when we have an ego, every time when we react to people or to ourselves or to any situation, is almost automatically respond by that character we built for ourselves. That mask, right? That mask is deciding for us, not ourselves anymore, right? So of course it will damage our relationship because if you do such thing, people will not feel like you are sincere. People will also feel like you have such a big ego, and also you wouldn't be happy because we already know behind all of this ego there are traumas, there are things, there are energy blockage. That's something you need to sort out. If you don't even sort it out, how can you be happy, right? So of course ego cannot make you happy, and ego will hindering you to build authentic relationship, no matter is with self, with the world, or with yourself. That's why we deal with it. That's why we deal with it. It's not because they are a devil, but because they are hindering you to have a happy life. It's not because of moral standard, because a book said ego is bad, so you have to destroy ego as a devil. No, 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 no. Because we're just being very rationally to say their only goal, right? The only goal is we want to have a world that people are more friendly, people more understanding. At the same time, everyone can be happier. As simple as that. No need religion to tell you about this. You agree with it. No need physics or scientific way to prove to you that you will agree with that, because that's such a great goal. Of course it's going to be difficult, but we're going to move towards this. And at least for this philosophy can bring us this inner peace, inner happiness. Step by step. For example, today we're talking about ego. So if we remove the ego, we can get closer to that goal, isn't it? So that's why So there are few reasons why that ego will hindering you to have to build the authentic relationship. The first thing is you will lose the capacity of empathy. Earlier, I think it's Jack Star, isn't it? Jack Star asking me, "Are you do? How does empathy related to ego?" So yeah, here is the thing about ego and empathy. It's not like ego will help you build empathy. It's quite opposite. If you have strong ego, you cannot even empathy. You cannot even have empathy anymore. Because when you have ego, you are in the mood of self-protection. And when a person is self-protection, they will is very defensive. You know what when people do that defensive? For example, when you have a big fight with your partner, you know that you are somehow right. Also, something is not good enough, and he is something right, something not good enough. But when you are defensive, you have a fight. You say it's all your fault. That is defensive. That is what is called defensive. Is you would like to consider at that moment when you are so defensive, you would consider you are the one who is only right, and other people are all wrong. And you can see these things all the time, right? You know, when people in argument, in when people are unhappy, when people are angry, in the mood, they would say something as "You are wrong, I'm right," and they like to win. They would like to win debate. They like to win in perspectives. Why? Because they're self-defensive. So this is why when you are in the mood of ego, you are in the self-defensive mechanism, almost the automatic self-defensive mechanism that will prevent you to have ability to have empathy with other people. And I mean, we all know if you cannot empathy, then there is no way that you can understand others to to let people feel resonance with you. You don't even have empathy with them. No matter what they say, it cannot really to you is like left ear in, right ear out, because you cannot really resonate whatever they say, whatever they do, right? So this is the first thing. And the second thing is obvious. And you found it extremely difficult to admit you are wrong. You know, the people we always say, those people who has strong ego, they are always so you feel like they never suggest they are wrong. Like they're trying to build a perfect image to people, like they are like godlike. They are never making mistakes. You know, and things like this. And why? Because to them, ego is strongly scared that if they are wrong, that means they are useless. They are not valuable. They don't even, they devalue themselves if they make mistakes. This is in ego. And when a person is dominated by ego, they always try so much to build this image of themselves. You know that when people I'm not saying, of course, I'm not saying every guru, but you know, there's some of the people who not really qualified enough, but they always try to build an image they are perfect. They never do wrong thing. They even would like to exaggerate in things like a lot of great things happening them, and it's like you feel like wow, that's a perfect life. I would wish that, and then you worship them, and then they ask you to completely surrender yourself. You know, things like that. And why? Because they feel like if they admit they are not perfect, then that's it. They devalue themselves and everyone gonna leave them. So deep inside is the insecurity that they want so much to grab people's attention and people's approval. That's what it's about. And also, why ego will stop you to build an authentic relationship is because you will lose the flexibility. You cannot, because even in a communication that you are trying to change yourself, right? Sometimes you will realize, yeah, I do think maybe I can change myself. But the ego, because it's a self-protection mechanism, you will be very stubborn to move. You will say that no, I don't care, I just want to be like this. When your ego is holding you, or let's say kidnapping you so much, you will find it difficult to move forward. You will find it difficult to change. And that is true. there is always difficulties to fight back your free will, right? Especially when you are so-called kidnapped by ego. It's difficult, but it's definitely not impossible. Trust me, my friend, it's not impossible. All sort of ego is possible and very likely, as long as you have strong will and do all this, practice or whatever, step by step, you can always fight it back. uh, and also, there's one interesting thing about ego. Why it also, this is also one of the reasons why it can damage your relationship in real life, is that you will feel threatened when you have close relationship. Guess why? Because ego is always scared to expose itself. The more close you are to a person who is get dominated by ego, that person is more scared. That's what it is about. Think about it, because the person they are trying the person who is ego dominated, they are trying so much to build an image to cover their weakness, to cover their trauma. So when they build a very close relationship, they are scared, oh, maybe that person gonna find out, like how we just analyzing all of these things, what is behind. People with ego, they don't like to know, they don't like other people to know that, because they feel being naked, people can actually see through what is behind all of this. They feel a sense of shame, a sense of awkward or something like that. So understandable, but they have to understand this is the only path to heal. If they don't want to expose what is actually behind these ego masks, they can never heal themselves, and they can never be able to build real relationship in life. And what I say relationship here is not just relationship with another person, is your relationship with yourself, first of all. A reconciliation with your own emotion, your body, your mind. So you can just proudly say, no, I'm not going to just push all of these things away or consider these things are unreal. I'm gonna fight back the balance. That's the thing about the relationship with self and relationship with people and with this world, right? So the only way to fix this situation is to remove the mask, and you have to see what is really behind the ego. It's just a broken heart that need to be healed. That's all is it about. you know so when people with ego is so commonly happen, is sometimes that you misunderstood others, that you hurt somebody else, you did something wrong, it's not other people's fault, but still you find it so difficult to admit you are wrong, to apologize. Why? Because this ego kidnapped you. This ego, it just keep you like as a mechanical self-protection. It's telling you, no, I have to do this. I have to protect myself. Even though you know that in reality, you don't need to. You should remove these things. And only by the way to remove this thing, you can walk into the real, authentic relationship. But you cannot. This is why we call, ego is a kidnapper. They kidnap you. Mm. And so many times you want to apologize, but you feel like, oh, I want to keep my proud, I want to keep my dignity. But in reality, that if you apologize, then maybe things can get better, relationship can be fixed, can be built. And that is also one way to be honest to yourself. Because if we do something wrong, the time when we actually to apologize is the time that can be able to be forgiven. If you don't apologize for something for sure you did wrong, and you just let these things, let this how to say, unsolved things in your mind forever, then your ego can also not let go. The ego will only kidnap you even more, right? So yeah, so that will eventually will lead you to escape from relationship. So this is what so let's try to do one thing after we talk so much about ego. Let's try to fight back your control of your own life from ego, right? If you sense Just once again, if you sense you are a controller, you sense that you're always trying to criticize people, you sense that you're always looking after perfection, you sense you always consider yourself as a victim, or you sense yourself only valuable when you have achievement. If these things you have one or two or three or whatever, I don't care, right? Doesn't matter how much things here you have. Just try to do something. Try to see what is behind it. So the reason here we also listed here. The reason is you may be lack of security, you may be lack of the sense of value for yourself, and you are scared to be denied. And you want to be seen, you want to be understood, you want to have people's compassion towards whatever situation you have been. And also, you want to be loved. You want to be loved without condition, right? You don't want people to love you just because you are rich, just because you are handsome, just because you can provide. You want people to love you because of who you are, not as all of this, social status or whatever. Just love you as a lovely person. That's what it is about, right? So this is what behind. And do you think any of this is something like evil? I don't think so. I think this is all reasonable, right? Well, we're scared of, we lack of security. So what? So because of we feel lack of security, so we become controllers. So are you gonna suggest that don't look after security? That's bad. No, of course not, because security is a basic requirement and everyone wants security, right? When you feel secured in relationship, you will feel more able to love. Imagine if you are in a relationship with a man, this man just always cheat on you. Will you actually enjoy this relationship? Of course not. Because security is requirement for an authentic relationship, right? So nothing to accuse about it. If this person always cheat on you and eventually you live a trauma and in next relationship you become so controlling in relationship, it's not really like you are evil. No, it's just you need to heal yourself. And most importantly, just let's hope that maybe in this relationship that person is worthy of your love. That's what it is about. So there is nothing to accuse about when a person wants security. Nothing wrong about it. And about the self value, everyone want to feel some sort of self value, right? That is true, especially if you can provide for this world. Like you can do some contribution to the society. Maybe you are a person working at supermarket, and every time you are just helping people to purchase all the stuff that they buy, but you wish maybe one day, 2 days, 3 day, one of the day that people will be more open to say just simply a thank you after you do that for them, right? If just a simply a thank you would let me feel like, oh my god, this is so great, because there's still people so appreciate your effort. That's what it is. But if people don't even give you that, you just do all this work to them, but they take it for granted. Of course, you will criticize people. You will love to criticize people because you will feel like, my God, you did so much for this world. And eventually, so what? You get nothing. And some people is trying to suggest that they, like grabbing your attention there. So you're gonna go criticize them. Why? Because you don't get what the respect that you want to, and those people also wouldn't deserve that. It's a very very self-protection mechanism, but it's understandable that we want to sense our self-value, right? Nothing wrong about it. Nothing wrong about it. And then, for example, I mean, everyone they scared of being denial. We already explained earlier about the childhood history, the childhood time. If you get denial, you will always want to try harder and harder to have the love from your parents. It is quite similar to the achievement ego. You want to prove yourself is valuable because you think that's the only way you can have love. So that is why you become so perfectionist. Sorry. Yeah, perfectionism. Oh my God. So you want perfection. You want the perfection in your life, and you have so high standard for other people as well. You wish everything to be perfect. perfect, and you also for all the things you just want it as much as it possible. That's just how it is. It's because you scared of being denial. You're scared of that if you don't, then the thing's just not even worth it to exist. And also everyone, in a lot of people in their life, a lot of bad thing happened. It's not really pleasant, and but they never feels like other people understand them. When you are crying at night, and outside, maybe you just walk out from home, and you're just crying there. Nobody care. They just take you as you are transparent. And when you're trying to talk out with somebody, they just get over it and then just lift. They don't even want to hear your real story. They don't want to share your pain. Not really share your pain, but it's like they don't want to really do something. They don't really want to help you out, even just a little bit emotional comfort. They don't even want to give you that. Then of course, you're gonna always think yourself as a victim. Because everyone is like this. They always bullied you, and this word is a prison, or the word is such a horrible place that nobody actually can give you a warm hand. Everyone, you just make you such a victim. So this is the ego of victim, right? So do you think really like people like that should be criticized? Come on, people like that should be healed. The people like that should be more seen and to be more understood by others. If this word, because the word become a little bit indifferent, sometimes people care about their own stuff. They don't have time to deal with this kind of trauma anymore. So of course people were left like ego, such ego. That is sad, but that is also something that we can do something about, right? That's something we can help them out. So the next thing, of course, the last thing we already mentioned about the ego of being successful. Only being successful, I worth to be loved. Only if I'm rich, only if I'm handsome, only if I don't know, like the king of the universe, then the best woman will come to me. Then things like that. It's not how it works. Because people like that, they always felt like love is something condition, with condition. It's always nobody. You imagine a person like that. Maybe one day a woman who is really just simply found something nice in him and fall in love with him, but he will not even believe. He will always feel like it's impossible. If I am not good enough, if I don't deserve, and why you love me? And then for this, and he just pushed that woman away. How stupid he would be, isn't it? But this is what ego will do in your real life. They push away the best thing you can ever have in your life, the best relationship you can build with yourself, with this world, and with other people. Ego gonna destroy them and push all of them away for you. And is that good? Of course it's not. So this is about ego. So right, just let me have a little bit 1 minute break. Is there anything you'd like to discuss? Because so far we already explained a lot of like in depth about ego. Now I believe now we can all understand what is ego all about. We will not need to demonize ego. We are not going to how to say, to just suggest you to um, how to say, erase yourself, erase your identity of self. No, none of these things. So, is there anything anybody like to say? You can tell me any question or any thought or anything related to this topic so far. Tell me anything you like to say, just or even just say hi to me, so I will recognize who you are. So next time we can, have more discussion. And also, I'm already decided I will have this one-to-one service. If you have any questions, you have any personal issues in your life you'd like to discuss, you'd like to sort out, and I will help you. Just please send me a message through Facebook Messenger, and I'll give you my WhatsApp. So then we can have, to deal with these things. I will prepare for you for all of these things about how to deal with this, because my relational non-duality is already done a lot, like done a lot of book. I just didn't publish them yet. But the complete structure is there. Is very uh, is very systematic. I try to cover every practical part, and the foundation for the philosophy is also very strong. And there is nothing involved about supernatural practices. That's something I 100% guarantee you. So if you have anything personal you'd like to discuss with me, just tell me. Just contact me through WhatsApp, and I have a link of Buy Me a Coffee. If you think whatever I said is helpful, and please, and I would really appreciate if you can just support me through Buy Me a Coffee, because now all of my life is based on this channel. So I'm determined to do this. I determined to do this because everyone is trying to make contribution and build relationship, as we always said, relationship in this world, right? And this is a way that I believe I can make the most contribution, because other things I'm not really that good at. But about philosophy, I spend all of my time on these things, and I am quite. I've been through a lot of different experience in life, so I can understand people. And although my English is not that good, but because this like cross culture thing, because I'm from another country, so I think it is also more possible to understand people, to understand different culture, different perspective. I was never trying to centralize in one culture or one race or whatever. I wanted to be universal. So in that case, no matter where you come from, no matter where is your background or what's your worldview, it doesn't matter. I believe that I can help you. Just let me know. Just send me a message, and we can arrange in Zoom call about all of these things. Can sort it out. So let's see. Jack Star said, later here, I'm off to bed. Love the focus on kindness towards people struggling with their ego related issue. World needs more positive vibes like this. Thanks for a good conversation. See you next time. See you next time, Jackstar. I'm really grateful that you agree with me here. This resonance is, is priceless. This kind of resonance is what we need in this world, as you say. See you next time. Mr. G, you are here again. Are you here at the beginning? Oh, yeah, I think you are here at the beginning. We are all from another country. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is something so great. Seriously, now I start to feel this is my advantage that I have such a bad English, like not really good English. Because of this, I can always use such simple words to explain something quite been very complicated. So in this case, even you don't have really good English level, so you can tolerate me, you can understand me. Isn't that a great thing? Isn't it? That this is something I think really nice. Imagine if you find somebody who is a professional or like philosopher, all the term he say, you will feel like, excuse me, what are you talking about? It's like that, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, and I'm really happy about it. Mm. Ah, yeah. Let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about all of this topic we talk about today. It's already 1 hour 52 minutes. So I want us to have communication about this topic, or communication about anything you want. It doesn't matter. Also, I would love to have some suggestion for the next topic. Well, this topic today, I bring it up because last time the connection was suddenly disconnected, the Wi-Fi. So I didn't get the chance to suggest to get the suggestion from friends about what is going to be the next topic you would like me to say, to discuss about. Yeah, think about it. Let me know. Mm. Sorry, how do we resonate with my ego? Uh, Mr. G. Mm, just a minute. How do we resonate with my ego? Um, Very simple way, by understanding. The thing is, we have to understand. We eventually have to remove ego. We have to remove ego by understanding it, and the reason why have to remove it, it's not because of somebody tell you you have to. It's not because some kind of religious dogma. It's not because of moral reason, ethics reason. No, it's not that. It's because of our goal. We all have different goal of life. As last time yesterday I discussed with another friend online, he was asking me how you define the purpose of life and things, and eventually we go to the point, say that there must be something that almost nobody can disagree with, is that we all have a goal, we all have a purpose that we want to, we want to how to say, no more suffering, right? No more suffering, and at least those unnecessary suffering, if we can somehow prevent it and make our life better, I believe everyone would agree with that, isn't it? So if that is the goal, if that is the goal, just arrived, sorry about it. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay. We'll talk about a lot about ego. You can have a look later, Mr. Following the data. I don't know how to say her name. Yeah, it's a quite sensitive topic, to be honest. But I don't feel sensitive about this topic at all, because just be honest, be more open to talk about these things. The thing is, you see, in a lot of people's mind, they like to hold things to themselves. Mm, they like to hold it to themselves, and that's why things not get sorted out. You have to be open about these things. You have to be able to discuss these things. If in relationship there's something wrong happened, but both don't even talk about it, the things will only get worse. Trust me. Some people, they think like, oh, I just open. I don't know if it's only Chinese expression here. Open one eye, close one eye, like that. That means sometimes you say things, sometimes you close your eyes. It's suggesting maybe sometimes you just let things go. To me, to me, I'd like to say things always, right? Maybe it's my personal preferences, but that is make me have very high self-awareness, because I don't let things just slide. I let things to be understood. So I will be able to understand what people is thinking. That's also something you can train yourself. If you can train yourself to be more aware, and then you will be able to understand not just about yourself, you will be able to understand other people as well. And that is important, because this word needs to be understood. This word need to be understood from people to people, from country to country, from culture to culture. That's how we can have a harmonious earth. Otherwise, there's no other way to achieve this. So train yourself to be more open, to talk about this, to think about this. If there's something you feel not really right to another person, have a very relaxed situation, like, have a coffee. I don't drink coffee, but have a day with this person to talk out. Maybe just walking in the nature. I would suggest that in the nature would be good, but if it's too cold, don't. Just choose a comfortable environment. Talk out with the one you care, with the one you love, or the one who love you. This is what gonna make things better, right? Back to the question, how do we resonate with my ego? Yeah, the way we resonate, which is like, what you mean is, how can we understand your ego? And this is like, earlier we already discussed, for all type of ego behind, there are reasons, there are motive that make this ego exist. So the way I resonate with your ego is not because I have some supernatural power. No, it's because I see through. I see through what is actually behind the ego. It's not devil. It's not something evil, but it's something that you need. Something you need. And things like this is something you need to sort out with yourself. That's how I resonate with your ego, and everyone will be able to resonate with your ego. And in that sense, we understand what is your ego is about, and then we can just say how to help you, or you can help yourself to remove it like a mask. It's not something going to be stick on your face forever. No, not like that. It's something that once you understand it, you understand that these things, okay, is a signal to remind you you need to fix something, and then you can just remove it. So be positive about it. Any type of ego, any type of ego that you know that you are not proud of, you know that it's damaged your relationship, you know that is the reason why you cannot have a happy life. All this kind of ego are able to remove. Maybe for somebody some ego will be a little bit difficult to remove because they the trauma is a little bit deeper, or for very long time they already get kidnapped by this ego for longer time. So they will be a little bit, relatively speaking, a little bit more difficult, but all of this eventually is achievable because we are human beings with free will, just as simple as that. Everyone has free will. As long as a human being has free will, you can choose. When you can choose, you can break free. Mm. Mr. G. So increase relationship with self and others and world. Yeah, it's not like increase. I would suggest it's more like, so balance the relationship with yourself and others and the world. So you have to see if there is blockage. Are you happy with yourself? Are you okay with your relationship with other people? Are you feeling like you and this universe is in such a harmonious resonance, you don't feel lonely, right? If you are like that, that means everything is okay and you are doing great. And seriously, Mr. G, I think you're doing great, because from the first time I can sense that you are trying to keep a very positive attitude towards life, and that's everything. When you have this positivity, it just directly will drive you. It will drive you to fix things rather than to just let it be, or rather than escape from it. And this positivity is everything, is the soul of whatever behind all of these things. If you have that soul, no matter what kind of situation you face, things can only get better, really. So yeah, just uh have a think about your relationship in life. Is there any kind of sorrow or suffering that make you feel uncomfortable? And also hear from people say, when you hear about, I know maybe somebody they feel shy to talk about it, but you have to, eventually you have to discuss with the people who close to you, to ask them, how do you really think about me? This is something you have to, because sometimes when you are kidnapped by your own ego, you don't know, you feel great about everything, but in other people, I maybe you are just very a controller, or you are criticized all the time or something like that. So you got to understand how other people say about you at the same time. Yeah, at the same time. But be careful. If somebody, because their own ego issue, they just jealous of you, they just they want to do harm on you, don't blame them. Like, everyone, when they have trauma, they have this tendency. But if it's out of this kind of reason, they just say all of this like bullshit on you, but it's not even true. In that case, you don't need to, you just need to understand them. But if it's something that you think is really true, so by this way, just talk to more people to know what they really think about you. In this case, can be wrong. If you talk to one, maybe the data is not reliable. But if you talk 5 to 10 people, you should have the rough idea. The people who close to you in life. Yeah, that's how you can check your relationship with yourself and with others and with this world. Is everything okay? In that case, if everything is okay, there's no reason why you cannot have a happy life. No reason, isn't it? Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. Any friends? Is there any question? Is there any thought? Is there any suggestion for the next topic? Please let me know. It's important. Viba said, thanks, Siwei, for wonderful session. Wish everyone a happy Dusa Dusiha. Dusiha. Wow, I don't know. Must be a Sanskrit word, isn't it? Oh, thank you so much, Viba. I'm just trying my best here. And yeah, this time I pick the topic myself, but I believe that this topic can resonate with people and can bring direct help. I mean, come on, I always emphasize that this our channel is gonna be, the philosophy is gonna be practical. So I want people maybe now or later when they see this, they found, yeah, it's practical. They can really practically use this understanding in their life to fix their relationship. That's all I want. That's all I want. No, there's no anything related to supernatural thing or worshiping power. It's just no, there's nothing like that. I want to help. Mm. Mr. G, the ego is hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to be vulnerable. Oh, you mean like, yeah, the ego is very strong, it's tough. You are difficult to make it softer or something like that. Basically, to remove it. Yeah, as I said earlier, yes, ego is something that for some people it becomes so difficult. Uh, Depends on their situation and the trauma. If a person have a really deep trauma, it probably will take really long time. But it's possible. Never give up. Never give up. If you give up, that can never happen. But if you don't give up, it might happen. And eventually, like theoretically, it's always possible anyway. Okay. Following the data say time to time is important to remember yourself that you are inhuman and under the laws of nature. However, by somehow we have the ability to understand we are a higher self. Yeah, the self. I mean, what you mentioned here is to understand we are always in relationship, while in relationship with the world, with other people, and with ourselves. But the higher self you refer, actually, what we're suggesting, I was suggesting, I don't like to, I know that back then, I also suggested a higher self. But to me, now there is only just one self, our original self. This self is always naturally resonating with everything. A little bit earlier in this session, I explained very clearly what is a self is about. That self is really brilliant. It's something you should always cherish. And the self, there is nothing wrong about this self. And there is not really like a lower self or higher self. It's more like sometimes we have blockage of energy. So there are some problem happened with ourself, right? And then we have ego. We have ego to kidnap us because of those blockage. And that is how it is. That's all. So yeah, but I understand your meaning. I understand your spirit that we should try to be a better self. That I mean, like try to fix things, trying to participate, and that is definitely the spirit. Because if we don't even do that, there is nothing can be possible. This may be help to control ego. Control ego. Yeah, ego is something eventually have to erase. I have to suggest that you have to erase it. Uh, i- i- um, yeah, because ego is not our real self. And if you just be a real self, just simply be and not letting this trauma control you anymore, that's the way you can be happy. That's the way. That's the only way that you can be so happy without any kind of ego. Then you still can be happy because ego is about control, is about self-defense, and this kind of ego will always require you. Oh, you must be rich. Oh, you must control other people. Oh, you must criticize other people. Oh, you must feel yourself are better than others, and you are victim. All these sorts of things. They can never make you really happy. No way. But if you remove ego, you can simply, easily feel happy about yourself. Yeah, that is how it is. Is there any suggestion for next topic? Like for the next streaming? Now I'm just planning to have the daily streaming, a routine. First of all, I'm really happy that every time there are people actually suggesting that it's them and people are actually contacting me privately to want to have the one-to-one session. um, I never think about it before, really. It's so funny. I mean, at the beginning, the only reason why I started to do this is because I want to prove I'm not AI. But now it just completely opened another world, isn't it? Like, because I found this is so direct. It's so direct, can give people help, so practical, and I'm still gonna keep that side going. The recording on the sofa and sitting with nice beautiful dress. I still keep that going because that's like more like an official side of me, that to explaining with a very official English, with my English level I will never be able to express in that way. But that is more for the people who can only tolerate those kind of English to enjoy. Even I have accent, uh, but yeah, I still keep that site going. I will still release that video probably once or twice a week. But I'm gonna focus on this. I'm gonna focus on doing live streaming almost daily base, but not weekend. Maybe not weekend. Yeah, weekend I want to also have a break for myself. But things like this, I can talk for hours really, and that is something since I was child. I was quite good at these things. In Chinese, then you will hear it much better, but in English, it's still okay. So I'd like to do this. I'd like to do the streaming, and if people, anybody, want to contact me or want to donate to me, I'm more than happy because I'm gonna focus everything on this channel. Next topic should be grief for the loss of loved ones. Oh, grief. That's a nice. Okay, let me write down. Let me write down. Uh, that's a nice topic. If you want, yeah, we can do that as the next topic. Yeah, Mr. G. Actually, I think this is the first time you suggest the topic, isn't it? Okay, then let's do that then. The next topic is gonna be grief for the loss of loved ones. Okay, let me just write it down. Grief. Oh, it sounds like you are a person with story. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, is there anybody have also other idea about any topic you like to discuss? You like me to discuss? Just let me know. I can just write it here, or because every day I'm gonna streaming. Every day streaming gonna have one topic. If now I can get more topic, I can write it down. I can just do it one by one. Uh, yeah, just let me know. Anything, literally anything. Doesn't care. I don't care about any kind of topic because um, I can always find an angle to talk about these things. In relational non-duality philosophy is all about life. So there is nothing to suggest, or you have to find something very, uh, uh, like abstract topic. No, I wouldn't prefer that. I want something very alive, very resonant with people's daily life to talk about. Yeah, so that's why I think it's really good idea that Mr. G suggested here. Grief for the loss of loved ones. Because I think a lot of people might resonate with this topic, isn't it? Is there any other suggestion? Any other suggestion? Now it's already 2 hour and 12 minutes. So I'm gonna get another 18 minutes. Yeah, I would like to every time stream for 2.5 hours. So still got another 18 minutes. Let me know anything you'd like to discuss, any topic suggestion, anything you want to say to me. And also remember, send me anything you want to discuss if it's private. You don't like to other people to know. I will help you, and if you believe in me, I can help you. And yeah, just send me the message in Facebook Messenger. Okay. Ego and addiction resonance. Resonance. Mr. G, now you are just say resonance all the time. Ego and addictions resonance. Wait, let me even try to understand what do you mean. Ego and addictions resonance. Uh, I mean, addiction is also one of the biggest problem in life. That's for sure. That is for sure. And addiction, I mean, we all know that addiction, why people have addiction is because they want something. They want something actually can uh they want something but they cannot get it. So they have to find some kind of replacement. And that kind of replacement is unhealthy, is dangerous. And that's it. That's about addiction, all about addiction. Yeah. Yeah, we will talk that in very detail in the future as well. It is a relationship with everything. Everything in life is within relationship, Mr. G. Everything. Your body cell and body cells in relationship. The tree and the sun and the star and the ocean is in relationship. You and your mom, you and your friend, you and your children is in relationship. So everything, even self is in relationship. Self, what is self? Earlier we already talked. Self is the resonance with your body, with your mind, with your consciousness, with your emotions. All of this resonant together give you the sense of self, right? All of this. Without one, you wouldn't call yourself self. You cannot even have the sense of self anymore. So yeah, everything is about resonance, is in relationship. So once you discover this, you understand this, you wouldn't even dream or thinking about, oh, I should escape from relationship, because you will find it silly. You will find it so silly that why you are actually in so much relationship with this planet, whatever how bad sometimes things can get, but you are not abandoned, right? That's the whole point here. You are not abandoned. You are not abandoning your relationship. Let me know. Is there anything you want to say? Why only Mr. G is talking? You can tell me anything you want to say. Any topic, mm, any discussion. I think it's just this kind of topic. A lot of people they find it a little bit sensitive. I guess they they feel a little bit uncomfortable to talk about if they have like their own experience in life. They feel a little bit uncomfortable. I understand that. But this is the path I choose. I mean, the path we choose here is to discuss all of these sensitive topics. I know that maybe people feel a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning, but eventually they find this is just a matter of time. Sooner or later, they have to face it. They have to face it and sort it out. No other way. Only I have problems. It is a relationship with everyone. No. Uh, only I have problems. No. No, I think just first of all, life is not perfect. Nobody is perfect, right? I'm not perfect. Now I'm still not perfect. In the future, I will not be perfect because perfectionist, we already talk about like somebody who only want to be perfect. We already talked about earlier. That's just one of the ego. That's just one of the ego mask. It's not something so great. It's something that we need to be understood. The only reason why is because we're scared of being denied, and that's understandable. Understandable. That's why I understand right now a lot of people they might. I mean, I say that there's still a lot, quite a people in our living chat room, but they wouldn't want to talk about. Understand it is also a self protection that because there might be something that they like to talk, but they feel uncomfortable to bring it because sometimes when people talk about something, they feel like they are bring back some kind of trauma. Have you talked previously about paranormal experiences as a way to understand reality in a different way? Just give me a minute. I need to check what does that word mean. You know my English, Mr. Data. Paranormal. 超长的，超经常旁的 you mean supernatural experiences as a way to understand reality in a different way. Supernatural experiences. Uh, well, this kind of things, as I always say, I didn't talk this specific topic because this is more like a spiritual or even religious topic. And uh, as I said in last episode, I did mention one thing is because one friend is suggesting me more like preaching to me about Christianity. But I said that I respect different people have different religions, beliefs. I understand and I respect that, but I feel most comfortable as who I am. The path I choose, I don't really like to seeking for religion to build this kind of connection, because when you think about it, when you worship God, when you try to, this is about what? It's about relationship. Again, relationship. This kind of relationship is great if they can bring some people peace, can bring some people strength. Let them have it. I always say, let them have it. There's nothing wrong about it. And to me, I never had any supernatural experiences in my life, never. And I don't want to judge if people actually will be able to have that kind of supernatural experiences. Maybe it's possible, maybe as people said is not possible, but I don't really mind. I think what is really important is if that helps them, and also the way eventually they achieve is a harmonious relationship with themselves, with the nature, and with others, is all granted, is all great. Just choose that path if that is for them. There's nothing wrong about it. Yeah, just for me personally, I never have this kind of experiences, and I never crave for the experiences like that, because life to me is something simple, but appreciable, deeply appreciable, like so many things. And also you have the free will, you can make a lot of things happening, and I appreciate life in this way. Like oh, Mr. Joel. Oh, the first time I saw you, I thought you are following the data. Oh yeah, it's because it's all purple. I thought it's the same. Mr. Joel. Yeah, that's my perspective. Like, but one more thing, important, because I'm not criticizing, but I know that a lot of people sometimes they've been told that to achieve some supernatural experiences can help them for inspiration, for creativity, for understand the truth. But they've been told that to achieve these things need to do drugs, to do something like that, right? uh, to do something like that. And I would highly suggest to not do that, because if you do drug, that's addiction, and addiction like this will harm your relationship with the self. If you harm your relationship with the self, then you wouldn't be able to be happy. That's what I'm trying to suggest here. And also you will harm your health and for everything. And also when you are having addiction, you will be very difficult for you to build authentic and a stable relationship with people, because people, they also will feel you are not stable and stuff like that. So you have to also keep your judgment. Like you can seeking for some kind of supernatural connection if you have that ability. I don't have that, but if you have that, but you have to be very responsible and don't give up your rationality. You got to consider for your self responsibly, and consider your future health responsibly. Mr. Dasara, ego, I love my ego. Yeah, I mean, ego is something not really making you happy. To be honest, is self. If you want to see the authentic existence of yourself, your love self, you want to keep your individuality. You want to have the sense of you exist. There's nothing wrong about it. Everyone love that. I enjoy that so much, because this is the way I participate in this world. If I don't even have the sense of self, I consider myself is not existing. Of course, that's not the path. So yes, I believe what you're trying to say is you enjoy, you love the sense of existence as a self, as a person with your memory, with your health, with your emotions, to be able to feel. Yeah, so that is okay, great. Yeah, John, no drugs here. That's important. Yeah, no drugs, and you have to be responsible for yourself all the time, and also be very careful. Especially, I suggest for people who seeking for a little bit, how to say, spiritual way or religious way. if you have that religion, you have that spiritual connection, and it helps you, as long as you wouldn't hurt other people or hurt yourself, and then that's okay. That's your personal choice. Religious freedom or things like that is a faith, the freedom of faith. That's okay, but just be very careful. Just be very, very careful that to not get the path that you need to worship a person, to give up your rationality, or to do drugs. This is important just for self protection, or but in a good way, not like a trauma way, but it's more like you protect yourself, you be responsible for yourself. Yeah, that's all. And thank you for speaking to me, Mr. Joa Paulo. I think this is the first time I see you here. Uh, Higher powers bring higher responsibility. Yeah, higher powers. I always mention higher power. The highest power we got is our free will. Honestly, our free will is our power. And you can see human beings are so capable to do great things, but they also will be able to do bad things to this planet. Why? Because we have free will and we have intelligence, and all of these things, when they combine together, is a lot of ability, but also a lot of responsibility. That's how it is. Mr. Dasara, I know I create the ego after my ego death. I understand even though it's illusionary, it gives sense of meaning to live. Uh, I think I think what you suggest is self, not ego. Right? Ego, we are really analyzing all the things of ego, right? If you're suggesting, well, if you're suggesting being controlling, be criticizing, be just want perfection, perfection, you think you are a victim, or you always think you have to have achievement, otherwise you are not worthy. I mean, all of this ego behind it is just trauma, right? That's just trauma. So I don't think what you meant is you bring, what you really meant is your individuality. You feel like the sense of you as an individual, that you exist. There's nothing wrong about it. Nothing wrong about it. The wrong is about when ego, when this kind of self protection mechanism is working on you, they kidnap your life. Yeah. So yeah, and self is not illusionary. That's something I can guarantee you. If you understand self as illusionary, then it will be very difficult to build relationship, to love yourself, to bring any good outcome. Let's see. Okay, I guess that's it. Recorded the next live chatting. We're gonna talk about the grief for the loss of loved ones. All right. Thank you so much for today. And I've been monologuing for almost 2.5 hours. And it was great because, and I hope that whatever I said today can help you somehow in life. I really hope. And if there is anything personally, or you want to have one-to-one Zoom call with me to sort things out, please contact me through WhatsApp, through WhatsApp, through Messenger. Okay. All right. So tomorrow, probably the same time, it's gonna be the next topic. Ah, Mr. Joa Paulo. Oh, you change your profile. Oh, so there is different ones. Oh, you are most welcome. Most welcome. Every day I'm gonna stream here, and yeah, tomorrow is gonna be grief for the loss of loved ones. Every time, in the end of this session, I will always ask you to give me suggestion for the next topic, and I prepare it, and I stream 2.5 hours in UK time from about 3 p.m. every day, except weekends. I would wish to see you again tomorrow. All right. So that's it. I wish you have a nice life. I wish everything goes great with you. And let's just cooperative to make this world a better place. And more importantly, first of all, let's make our relationship with the world harmoniously. Right? Okay. See you. See you tomorrow. See you.